Hi, I am Akriti, and in this video we will see these topics in a very detail. For working in psql shell, firstly we need to connect with server. In this video I will tell you how to connect with server and how to get some help, create database and connection of database, creating tables with constraints and without constraints. So let's go. The best way for learning any database is by using the actual shell command line. You can see that it's prompting you to enter a server. We will connect to our local server. So go ahead and press enter. This will accept default. Now by default Postgre ship with a database called Postgre. So go ahead and also press enter. The default port for Postgre is 5432. Enter, and the username is also Postgre. So go ahead and press enter. Now remember that previously we added a password. So go ahead and use the password that you entered when you configure. Now you can see we are connected. If you need help, then type help. So you can see that we get some help. Every single command right here start with a backslash. Then if I simply press backslash and question mark, you will see that I get more help. Basically there are a bunch of things. If I press backslash and then I and then enter, you can see this command simply lists all the database. We will create a database that we can create all the table inside of this database. For create a database, we need to use the command create and then database, and then we have to give it a name. So this database must have a name. The name of this database will be first database and with a semicolon with it, because otherwise it won't execute the command. Press enter. We have this response back which says create database. Now to view the list of all the database, simply press backslash and then L, then enter. Right here you can see that this is database that we have just created. For connection with database, we simply press backslash and then C, then first database end with semicolon, then enter. Now you can see we are connected. Creating table without constraints. We write the command to create table and then table name, open parenthesis, press enter. This command won't be executed until I enter with a semicolon. Very first column called ID, and this was int. Then we also had the first name, this was varchar, and then 50. We also had a last name, this was varchar 50. We had gender, and then finally have a date of birth. The data type date I am going to end with close parenthesis and semicolon. Execute this command. So press enter. You can see we have a table. We can see the list of all tables that we have in our database is simply by pressing backslash and D for describe. Press enter. You can see we have one table called person. We can even go one step further, that is to describe the actual table name. If I press backslash and D and table name person, if I press enter, you can see that we have one table called person and the columns. And this is how you create a table using Postgre without constraints. Now we will see how to drop a table or delete a table. For drop a table, we just write a command drop table and then table name. Here table name is person and then end with semicolon. Just enter. You can see drop table. If I press \ND and table name person, enter, here it is give us drop table. If here I press \ND and table name person, did not find any relation name person. Our table dropped successfully. We created the above table without any constraint. So basically we can do is specify some extra constraints in our table to enforce that someone insert a new record into this table, it must satisfy these constraints. Because currently in our table called person, we can go ahead and pretty much just create a person without an ID, without first name, without last name, without gender, and also without a date of birth. So what is the point of it in person without any of this information? So to improve on that, we can do is the specify the actual constraint. So on the table below you can see that ID becomes now big 0. So this is an improvement because big 0 do increment by themselves. And then I'm saying that this column must not be no. So not no, I'm going to specify the ID is primary key for this table. So what uniquely identify a person in an actual table? So the same for first name. So what I'm saying, not to know. So if you want to insert a person into this table, you should specify first name, last name, gender, as well as date of birth. Let's go ahead and improve our table with these constraints. So I'm going to do is go back to command line. I'll rewrite the command to create table and then table name. Table name here is a person, open parenthesis and press enter. Our first column will be ID and it's big serial. Big serial means that it's signed integer which auto increment, and it will not null primary key and then enter, and then first name varchar and then 50 not null and then enter. Then last name varchar 50 and not null. Then we have a gender varchar eight and not null. Enter. Then we have a date of birth, data type date and not null, and then enter. Lastly we have a email, it's varchar 150. Here we don't write not null because everyone does not have email ID, and we end with close parenthesis and semicolon, enter, we get response back, create table. Our table is now created. Simply press backslash and D to view list of table. Here we have a table called person and have a person ID sequence. It's because we use big serial. We simply write backslash D and table name person. Here are table and have column type and not null.